This episode of The Rest is Football is powered by our new presenting partners, Fuse Energy. We're thrilled to welcome them to the team, especially outside the regular transfer window.
A new signing providing power and energy. That sounds like a bit of me back in the day, Gaz.
And reliable too, not one of those fair weather players who go missing in December.
Fuse will be powering The Rest is Football right through the season. They're one of the UK's fastest growing energy suppliers, building solar farms and helping homes make smarter choices. Power that performs throughout the season.
Fuse, keep everything running, lights on, meters smart, cars charged, a full squad you can count on.
And when you sign up for their fixed rates, your energy prices hold their shape, even as the nights turn colder and the title race heats up.
The season is long, but with Fuse, the energy never drops. For more information about energy that hits the top corner every time, head to fuseenergy.com/football. And if you fancy getting involved, sign up with the code FOOTBALL for the chance to get a shout out on the pod and throw your own question at us next time. Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker, recording this after the games on Sunday. Alan, I saw you doing Match of the Day last night, just the 4 games, but there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah, did Match of the Day yesterday with Danny Murphy with 5 minutes to go on that late game. Arsenal were last in Match of the Day in the running order. And then we were on at 20 past 10, and then at 10 o'clock it was like frantic because the goals had gone in. It then started, they'd won. For 1 minute they were leading and top, and the analysis was like, oh my God, because there was hardly any analysis that because it was last, we didn't have to do a lot. And then all of a sudden it was shoved right up the running order, and then we're scrambling around to get some analysis, and Danny had got some crossing analysis of where they got 30 crosses in or something like that. So he very kindly gave me that because I really wasn't doing analysis in that game because that was going to be Danny's. But because then the running order changed so much, like they were on second and he was doing the Liverpool game. So he was then thinking, well, he can't do Liverpool and then Arsenal. So it was bonkers. Yeah, bonkers.
Yeah, I know what that's like. Those late kickoffs on Saturdays, because they're often a big game and you think maybe it'll lead the show, and then you're thinking actually it quite suits us if it's a bit boring editorially because it gives you time to do a proper edit of the game. And I know exactly what it's a bit like one of those midweek ones where you games. Yeah, it's mental.
Yeah, it was.
Who was editing the show? Al?
Rich.
Oh, Rich was
there. Yeah, Rich was. And then we had the Maresca bit as well, where Maresca came out in his press conference and came out with this cryptic clue, which was clearly.
We'll come to that.
Which we had to go big into that as well. So yeah, there was loads to talk about, even though there was only 4 games.
Absolutely, Micah. You were working today, saw you, and then not for the last game. I have to say, you didn't miss much. It wasn't a thriller. The Brentford game.
I was on air at 12:30, finished at 4:30. Half a day for me.
You love those days. You love those days.
I like it. Energized. I feel great. I feel good.
Slight little change in the hair, the barnet, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm growing it out, aren't I?
Yeah, I can see that, But you've still got the nice trim at the top. You've definitely had it done this morning.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're growing it out? What are you growing out?
My hair, Alan.
What do you mean you're growing it out?
Some, you might know.
I had those problems one day. You're growing it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was 15 at the time. Okay, let's talk about the first bite delivered by Uber Eats. And, apologies, Alan, but it has to be the Tyne-Wear Derby. And you seemed a little bit grumpy on the group chat earlier on. You okay? Are you over it?
No, I wasn't. Newcastle were dreadful. They were rotten. And I was really shocked at how bad they were because, I mean, that is pathetic in any game, let alone in a derby game. Seriously, you're going to play in the biggest game of the season at your rivals, and you've heard all the players all week. We know how much it means to the fans, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Well, lads, they did nothing. They were awful, honestly. And Eddie made some big calls in team-wise, and I thought Eddie got it wrong as well. His players who he picked didn't perform for him. Elanga was awful. Gordon was awful. Woltemade was awful. And they offered nothing in forward positions. Stop laughing, you two dickheads. Can't help it. You pair of... Oh, I wish I could say that word. I would call you that now.
No, I mean, I just love it. I love that you care so much, Al. It's lovely. It's very refreshing. That's all.
Oh, there was no desire. There was no energy. There was nothing. You go away to Sunderland, and who aren't a great team. And after half an hour, Sunderland had about 70% possession, as if I was thinking, am I missing something here? Are we going away to Arsenal or Man City here? We're going away to Sunderland. Okay, they're hard to beat at home. They're really well organised.
They're above you in the table.
They're above us on the table, yeah. But come on, they're not Barcelona or Real Madrid. Are we going to have a pop at them or what? Have a go at least. There was nothing from Newcastle. It was really, really awful.
Can't we give a bit of credit to Sunderland?
Yeah, they deserved to win. They were up for the fight. They had the energy. They won every second ball. They won every challenge. Well done, yeah. But
what?
Newcastle were terrible.
What about the fans, though?
What fans? Newcastle ones. They were brilliant, weren't they?
We've mentioned atmospheres at grounds. Liverpool being excellent. Your Geordie boys, Newcastle, brilliant, especially on Champions League nights. But Sunderland today, wow. I think that's the loudest I've heard it this season.
Heard what?
The fans. Are you hard of hearing? The Sunderland fans today were absolutely incredible. Going to that place is like a fortress. Every tackle was cheered by the fans. Didn't give Newcastle a minute to breathe on the ball. That was an amazing performance. Tactically, all the tactics went out the window. It was just about who wanted it more. And yes, the goal was an own goal by Woltemade.
Great header, Micah. Come on.
I did feel sorry for him because you're thinking, when the night before a big game and he's sort of imagining how things are going to go. Oh, I'm going to get the winner. I can be the hero, And then he scores an own goal like that. I mean, I don't know how he's going to sleep.
Do you know what you mentioned? You mentioned Woltemade. As good as he's been in the goals he scored and lovely technique and touch, it is a difficult problem that Newcastle have with him because, and this is not the first time I've said it, technically very good, ball at his feet very good, albeit he wasn't today. But he does pose a problem for Newcastle because he can't press. Everything about Newcastle's success over the recent years that Eddie's brought into it is about energy, high press, not letting the opposition play. Did you see us today? Sat back, 4-5-1, no pressure on the ball, nothing. And that's a bit of a problem for Newcastle because he hasn't got great energy. He's not quick. He's got other strengths that he brings, but everything about Newcastle's success hasn't been about that. It's been about energy and about high press, and he can't do that. And that's one of the reasons, I'm not saying it's the full reason, but that's one of the reasons why Newcastle have struggled away from home.
Yeah, but you've got to be able to adapt though, Al. Woltemade is a very good player. He's got very good technique for a big man.
Yeah.
He brings people into play, drops in them pockets of space that we've mentioned so often on Match of the Day and on this pod as well. He's coming into the derby for the first time. He probably didn't know what hit him. He didn't get a second. Ballard was all over him. I'll take your wider point about Newcastle are the best at being aggressive, on that counter-attack. Murphy, I thought you missed Murphy today. You mentioned Elanga. I think Murphy's been brilliant.
Just before you go on, that was another big surprise to me. And I think another one that Eddie got wrong today because Elanga has been poor at Newcastle. He's carrying a heavy price tag through no fault of his own. Hasn't played well. 1 or 2 on his back. And I thought for Eddie to put him in the biggest pressurised situation in the Derby game away ahead of Murphy, I thought that backfired as well.
It seems that Bruno Guimaraes largely agrees with you, Alan. I've got some quotes that just come out here. I'm very angry. I'm so embarrassed and I'm so frustrated. There was no crossing, No passing and no shooting. No nothing. It was a mess, in my opinion. We know we have a better team than them, Sunderland, but we didn't play like the better team. It was a mess. The consistency isn't there. The mentality isn't there. We didn't compete. The fans expect and deserve better. We accepted the way they play with the long balls. You need to compete in a derby, and we didn't. We only have one way we can go from here, and that's winning in a few days. So he seems to concur with you, Alan.
Yeah, I prefer you talking on the pitch, by the way, rather than off it. The only consistent thing about Newcastle is their inconsistency.
I mean, it's mad how you change. You were singing their praises a week ago, Micah. I remember saying, we're back with this, with that. I love how it affects your mood. It's great.
Lost the game.
But it's real. It's real. He's real. He's a proper fan. That's how we are.
I really love the passion. I love the passion from Al. But I just think it was one of those games where Sunderland were at it. It wasn't a football game.
One of those fucking games. It's a derby game. You can't have one team at it and one not. If you're gonna get beaten, you get beaten going down having a scrap. We had a scrap with a minute to go. That was the only scrap I saw. I would prefer that to happen in the first minute than the last minute. You can't say it's a derby game. Yeah, it is a derby game. So you need to be fighting, scrapping from the off. Not in the 90th minute when it's too late.
Derbies have not been like that, though, of recent years, have they? I think Sunderland made it a throwback. It was an old school classic derby, which Newcastle just didn't know how to deal with. And they played on that, used the crowd to their advantage. And yeah, they got a lucky goal. But in the end, it was the 3 points that mattered.
Yeah. They deserved the points. They were there. They deserved it more than Newcastle.
And that's 7 games they've won this season now. They're only 4 points off the top 4. I mean, you've got to give them enormous amount of credit, even if Newcastle had one of those days. And we've all played in them, Alan, where something's not right. You don't know what it is. There's a lack of energy. But I know it shouldn't be in a derby, but we've all been in those circumstances where it's one you've got to forget. But for Sunderland, I mean, I think they're safe already. I think they are safe. I mean, at the start of the season, we all said Sunderland, as is always the case pretty much, the team that goes up via the playoffs generally goes down. What is it? Regis Lebris. A great name, and extraordinary job he's doing. Yeah, they play the basics and this and that and the other, but wow, they deserve enormous credit.
As much as it pains me, by the way, I have to say Dan Ballard I thought was absolutely exceptional and has been all season. Granit Xhaka has been amazing, and the manager
signing, Xhaka,
to bring all those players in and to knit them together and to then get them to understand what it means to play for that football club. And then go out and fight and scrap in the way they did. Yeah, well done him and well done them. They're having a brilliant season, as much as it hurts me to say it.
On that note, we'll move on. That was the first bite, and boy, did Alan bite, delivered by Uber Eats. Let's talk generally. Elsewhere, I mean, a City back, Micah.
City are back. City are back. Of course they're back. Haaland. Did you see Haaland's goal, by the way?
I did.
Mateus Nunes, what a ball in the box.
Brilliant.
I'm thinking, what's he going to do? Is he going to go near post and try flick it? He goes back across the goalkeeper. And he didn't have a touch. And for those who didn't see the game, Palace were actually very good in the game.
First half particularly.
Yeremy Pino had some good chances to score. They had a lot of possession, forcing City back, but couldn't capitalise on those opportunities. And then City grew into the game. Shirky with a little bit of magic. Philip Foden.
Back on form.
I want to say it. Philip fucking Foden. He's back.
FFF.
I've not said that for 18 months, guys.
I know.
He is back.
Yeah.
I mean, what this guy is doing now, I just look in that central role, the way he just glides on it and just... He gets the ball on the half turn. How many times have I said that? But he's shooting. The end product this season has been exceptional.
In front of the England manager. I may say.
Was he there? Was he?
Was he there? Wow.
Yeah, they cut to Tuchel in the stands, and I think it was actually after Foden scored that they did that. So, another 2 goals for Haaland. He couldn't do it for you at Sunderland, Alan, but he did do it in this one. I mean, the second was a penalty, but the first one. Yeah, I mean, that is, if there's a lesson to be learned for young centre forwards about how to head a ball, that is exactly what you do. If you're in you head it the way it's come from, because it actually, the keepers usually generally move in the other way, so it gives you an edge. And also, it strikes you, you watch the ball right onto your head and it hits the middle of your forehead. Whereas flick headers from those things, it's very difficult, A, to direct it, and B, to get any sort of power. So I would say, I mean, that was what I was taught when I was very young, is heading exercises were always head it where it comes from, head it where it comes from, head it where it comes from. I mean, it's different. Obviously, if you're running at a near post, then you've got no alternative but to flick it. But that was an absolute masterclass in what to do.
Do you know what it is? Crossing is officially back.
It's officially back.
It is. It's like for the last 12 to 18 months, probably more so this season. I haven't checked the stats, but I can just see it with my own eyes. Crossing is back.
XC, they call it.
XC.
Expected crossing.
Yeah. I mean, it has won Sunderland the game today. Yeah. It won Arsenal the game yesterday. It's won City today with that goal. Crossing is officially back. Great to see for the centre-forward union.
It is. I mean, we'd have gone mad in that period with no crosses.
Yeah.
I mean, just scream at wingers, give them a hard time. You know, when they cut back and they play and you just get it in the fucking box, man. Yeah.
It's happening more and more, guys. Honestly, it's like it went missing for a few years where it was pass, get to the byline, come back out, pass it back, pull it back. But now crossing is back.
I know we've got you on the show, Alan, and you was a top striker. I actually think you had a little bit more in your game in terms of holding it up. And for some reason, I was watching loads of clips on you the other day to just see how good you was. And your hold-up play was, to quote the word that you always use, magnificent.
Have you had a drink? You've been far too nice. What's up with you?
Stop this now, Micah. Stop this now.
You know what?
Where's he going?
Look at this. I've had this since a bit of Negroni. A little bit. We won't put the brand in there. We'll just put the name. A bit of Negroni there.
I love a Negroni.
I've looked at this 10 or 15 times, and I'm just thinking, shall I? Shan't I? Shall I? And I've stayed strong.
Micah.
But
go on, have a little bit. Just have a little bit. Go on.
That's the same Negroni that used to play up front with Ribaldi.
So anyway, I was watching some clips of Al.
But without Al, why were you doing that?
I don't know.
You got a crush on him.
I can't sleep at night. And I was on Y Scout looking at different teams and all that sort of stuff. And I come up again. He was talking about Alan Shearer's goals or whatever. I was just on YouTube for ages watching him. But what he didn't get a lot of credit for is the way he held up the ball. I seen him pushing Desai off the ball. I'm thinking, this is Big Al. I thought he was just a lucky striker.
Lucky 260 times.
This is the time I'm getting worried when he says to me he couldn't sleep at night and he started watching videos of me.
Whatever floats your boat, Micah.
If you just asked me, I would have sent you a message.
He'd have sent you a... No, I was going to say something.
Carry on, Micah. I'm enjoying this. Carry on.
But then...
Alan, when you send him that pic, can you make sure it doesn't go in the group chat and you just send it to Micah personally? Thank you. Personal request there.
But then I look at Haaland and his ability not to be in games and still score a goal. It must be one of, if not the best we've seen in the Premier League era. It has to be. Sometimes he has 5 and 6 touches a game and then he scores. It's ridiculous what he's doing.
He talked about that when we interviewed him, didn't we? And if you haven't heard that yet, it's obviously still on our feed, so please do so. He talked about that, when people say, "Oh, you just get tap-ins, you didn't do anything, you don't mind." He went, "I love it when they do that." So, yeah, and it's I guess
he's a freak. Yeah, that's what in the nicest possible way. He's a goal scoring freak. And you know what it is, Micah? He's an absolute gentleman to go with it. What a brilliant bloke he is.
Lovely, wasn't he? Really brilliant. Was, yeah.
Fantastic.
You can see that though, can't you? You can see that players respect him and like him.
He actually messaged me on Instagram saying, "Why wasn't I doing the pod?" I said, "I mean, it was a strikers pod."
You were in the Grand Prix.
No, wait, that's what I'm just relaying information. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. You were too busy getting on the grid. Too busy. So, the title race, it's quite. I mean, it's still early.
It's hotting up, isn't it?
I mean, Arsenal kind of stuttered and wobbled, but they still got the 3 points, and that late winner was huge for them. Otherwise, obviously, they'd be on a par now with Manchester City. So, and Villa came from behind. Let's talk generally on these games. Villa. From West Ham, Morgan Rogers, by the way. Oh, wow! That's one of his goals.
I can't talk about him.
You can't.
I made my changes.
You've taken Morgan Rogers out of your team.
I accidentally put him on the bench and didn't press
save. How do you accidentally put someone on the bench?
Because you always, on fantasy football, you don't just do it week by week. I change my team probably 10 times a day up until, and I think, okay. And I went with it. I went with Rodgers. Okay, he's at West Ham. West Ham have been doing a lot better recently, but there might be an occasion where he finds some space. He goes and gets 2 goals, honestly.
And you took him out. You did take him.
Kudus, he's on my bench. I put Kudus. I'm praying that Semenyo tomorrow against Man United or today.
No, he's got flu.
As you're hearing.
He's got the flu.
Has he? Please.
No, he's not.
Calm down.
Why would you wish the flu on anyone? So if he's injured, you get Morgan Rogers comes back in. Is that
comes on? He's the first sub. Yeah. The Villa are a class, aren't they?
Going behind again and then coming back to win the game. Bloody hell.
Amazing. Behind twice in this particular game. Jared Bowen, he does his stuff, He's really good. Without him, I think West Ham will be in real trouble, don't you?
Well, they are in real trouble.
I mean, they're in real trouble, but you know what I mean? I think they'd be hopeless. They'd be without any possible chance of staying up. But I think because of him, I think they'll be okay.
Agreed.
His movement in the box is just to say he's a right winger. I know he plays up front and then off the right for West Ham, but his movement is just remarkable. He's always in the right place, right time, and it was a good little finish. It was Potts who had the shot, wasn't it? But I think he's another player who's quite underrated. I know it's very difficult because they've been losing a lot of games this season, but I think he's a top player.
I agree with you, as is Morgan Rogers, by the way. And I think the England players are finding their form, but that's because it's December. Come June, obviously things will change as usual.
I was going to say, we probably need him to slow down a little bit. Don't we need to see it, but Villa fans won't thank me for saying that, but oh my God, he's like... What a player. What a goal as well. His second one.
Yeah. What a strike, wasn't it? Like, I swerved at the end, didn't it? Past the keeper.
Brilliant.
Fantastic effort. But in terms of the overall, it was such a hugely important winning goal for Arsenal, wasn't it?
Oh.
Because if that doesn't go in, all of a sudden it gets a little bit, everyone's saying, Arsenal are going to choke, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, we were watching it and Arsenal were poor. They got the goal and then Wolves got the goal back and thinking that's it, done. But they somehow found a way. It was a great ball in and really unfortunate for Wolves to lose that way. But from an Arsenal point of view, wow, what an important goal that could be. Because we were all saying if you won a game after you've been beaten the week before in the league, then you'd want Wolves at home. But Wolves really made it hard for them and frustrated them at times. And... they got through Arsenal, which I guess you just have to do that. And it was a massive 3 points.
I feel Arsenal have a little bit of a conundrum because Madueke's playing really well. and Saka's their best player, I think you need them on the pitch at the same time. Although Madueke is not that great on the left-hand side, he's way better from the right. Wolves concede them 2 goals, and you're looking at Arsenal, how they're going to break teams down. Arsenal need to do a little bit more. Saka, they're too reliant on Saka all the time. A lot comes, and if you look at the goals that Trossard scores, or Martinelli or whatever, like they need to do what Saka's doing from the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, it feels as though all the dangerous play has to come from Saka, always down the right-hand side. And then Eze needs to do a little bit more. Obviously, he gets his hat-trick in the North London derby. Odegaard comes on the pitch, but that's how teams are going to set up against Arsenal now, because they're the team to beat in that low block. And I think they need a little bit more imagination in the games now, because I think that you can't keep relying on Saka to dig something out. It needs to be shared around.
Do you know, I was on about the crossing earlier, guys. The reason one of the reasons why I said it is because Arsenal yesterday put 30 crosses into the box. And it's not because of who they were playing. That was the second most in the game this season. I'll say they're playing Wolves. They put 32 crosses in against Manchester City. But the vast majority obviously come in from that side when Saka's playing. I mean, Saka yesterday put crossing after crossing after crossing.
And his delivery is so good as well.
And ultimately, I know it was an own goal, but the cross has won them the game yesterday. And he's brilliant at it because he can go left and whip one in with his left foot. He can get to the line and ping one in with his right foot. He's so good, Saka. He's unbelievable.
He's really good.
It's a dream for a forward, be a dream to play with.
Exactly. And that thing you said there can go either way, because that's such a big advantage. If you, as a fullback, if you're against him and you're not, if you know a player prefers to go one way, you can show them the other way, can't you? Whereas with him, he can do you both ways. And he's a proper little player. Let's take a little break and talk about some of the other games when we come back.
This episode is brought to you by Barclays.
That's right, because this year they're celebrating 25 years of supporting football. And let me tell you, they truly have made a difference.
And don't forget, they ended up being the biggest ever commercial investors in UK women's sport when they started sponsoring the Barclays Women's Super League.
But it's not all about the big leagues, is it, lads? There's no football without grassroots football.
Well, that's right. I mean, we wouldn't have had the careers that we've had, guys. Not one of us, would they, without grassroots football. That's where it all started, the love of the game.
If I went back to Aston Park Football Club, which is where I started to play, and all the lads were playing and the girls were playing all across everywhere. And it was so beautiful to see all these young people. One little lad came up to me, he must have been about 9 or 10, and he came over to me, he went, "My granddad used to play with you." Now that really is grassroots stuff. It's why Barclays has invested millions into grassroots programs and community initiatives to give opportunities in football to those who need it most. Search Barclays Football to find out more. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker, discussing the weekend's games. Lots to discuss, actually. We didn't really talk about one of the Sunday games, which was quite an important result for both teams, really. One for Forest, who I watched last week, who weren't very good, against Everton, and they've bounced back and won. And Spurs, who've had a good week, have made a real backward step because Forest won by 3-0. So, yeah, didn't really see that one coming.
Yeah, I didn't. I was working on the Newcastle game, so I didn't see the full game. Obviously, I was keeping an eye on that result. And I'm with you guys. I thought it would have been a really tough game, and maybe Forest would have edged it, but it sounded as if it was really comfortable for Forest.
Pretty comfortable. I mean, Hudson-Odoi was really good. 2 goals. I think one of them was a cross, no question about that, which you probably blame Bukayo for.
Yeah.
But yeah, Forest played really well. I mean, I told the story last week about in the lift, didn't I, with with the chairman when it said it was going down. But I think they'll be fine. I mean, Sean Dyche, he's...
Forest aren't going down.
Not with Sean Dyche
No
as well, I think. I don't think so. They've too much talent there, too many good players. I mean, even the central defenders, are really good.
Not with him in charge, they're not going down.
No, I agree.
On another note, Vicario for Spurs, the ball that he gave Archie Gray.
Bobbly ball.
But firstly, it's bobbling. Then he plays to his weaker foot. Then he blames Archie Gray. Yes, it's one of those balls that come into you. You've got to whip it round first time. But it was on his left foot. Like, what is he supposed to do? Okay, he could have checked his shoulder. But why is he giving him the ball there? I don't understand it. He can see the whole picture in front of him. The whole picture. Just get rid of the ball. You're not going to gain anything from playing in there.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself under pressure. I just thought it was ridiculous. I did. And
I wouldn't disagree with you.
I don't understand why. And I really liked Bukayo when he first came. Shot stopper, and he was really good. But recently, he's been making a few bad errors. I understand certain managers want to play a certain way. We all get it. With the modern day, the way teams want to set up, they want to play out from the back. But you've got to play out when it's on. It was clear what they was trying to do. There's waiting to jump. As soon as they take a touch. And then all your hard work throughout the week is just undone by that. And once they scored that goal, it was always going to be difficult for them to get back in the game. And I just think Bukayo, you're a good goalkeeper. Just have a bit of patience, a bit of calmness. When you need a goalkeeper to be calm, he makes too many rash decisions. And then Archie Gray, the young lad, gets the blame.
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
He looked really guilty, didn't he?
Saw that goal, yeah.
You could see that. Did you see the Sangari goal there?
Oh, wonder strike.
Woof, what a goal that was.
Was it a good goal? Was it? I haven't seen it yet. Was it really?
Absolute rifle. Knocked it back to him in it first time. It just flew in.
Brilliant.
He just cut across it though, didn't it? So he had that swerve.
Yeah, outside the foot, because it was going across him, wasn't it? So he hit across it. You think Thomas Frank's under pressure or not? I mean, the truth is, when we say these things, only the owners know, really, don't they? But they've had a decent week. They're going okay in the Champions League, generally. They've had one or two good results. It's a bit up and down, isn't it? But it's like all these, you need time, don't you? You need time.
The inconsistency of everyone this season.
Actually, yeah.
Other than perhaps Arsenal. I know Arsenal were beaten last week.
And Villa after the first few games of the season.
And Villa after the first few games.
And City more recently as well.
The inconsistency from everyone. I mean, Chelsea, who we'll speak about.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are so many others that you can mention about, you think, yeah, they're okay now. And then a week or two later, it's like he's under huge pressure.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because the Premier League is, you don't get easy games very often in the Premier League, do you? So you need to be on top of your game all the time. You can't afford to be slightly off.
Yeah, I think one or two, maybe three or four have improved massively. And perhaps one or two of the big teams, Arsenal excluded, are perhaps not hitting the levels that they have done.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
And I think City are creeping back after a tough season. I think you can see that they're...
Still question marks against them defensively, though, City.
No, there are. They conceded chances to Palace, quite a few of them.
Yeah.
There are, but I think...
Well, they'll be there or thereabouts, at the end of the season, City. So, and Arsenal know that as well.
To answer your question, though, guys, I think you asked about Thomas Frank to start with. But there's only 4 points between 12th and 5th. 26 points Palace are on and Spurs are on 22 points. So you can have a good week. Around Christmas time, normally, obviously, it's more ferocious. There's only one game on Boxing Day, but normally around that Christmas period, you can change it around, can't you? Yeah. And there's only 4 points off 5th place, where when we're making our predictions at the start of the season, Spurs are 4th, 5th, 6th in that. Yeah. So they're on track for where they need to be. I just think the fans are a little bit disappointed in the football that they're seeing. So that's where the pressure comes from.
Well, they were very gung-ho with, obviously, Ange Postecoglou, weren't they? And it was, we did get entertaining games one way or the other, whereas I think Thomas is probably more pragmatic in his approach. But I mean, I can't see why he'd be under pressure at the moment. You've got to remember as well that Tottenham finished 17th last season. Now, I know that towards the latter stage of the competition, there was obviously a clear priority, and that was the Europa League. But having said that, he still did finish in 17th place. But so, I mean, it's way too early, really. I mean, you need to establish yourself at the football club. He's not really had one window yet. I mean, he came in halfway through, and then the one or two transfers mostly fell through, didn't they? Morgan, Gibbs, White, and
Eze
as well, who ended up going to Arsenal. So, that was difficult before you start. So I think we're cutting some slack there, surely. I mean, just the madness of it all. We talked about Liverpool and all the issues that they've had. They're now 6th place, just 2 points behind Chelsea, who are 4th. It's topsy-turvy world. And while we're on the subject, I really enjoyed the Liverpool game yesterday. Not necessarily for the game itself, but the whole Mohamed Salah issue. I thought it was really well handled overall. Since it's happened, I think Slot's dealt with it very well, very maturely. Mm-hmm. Mo's kept his counsel, obviously, but he was part of the squad. It was really important. He was on the bench. He had a smile on his face. And the Liverpool fans, I think the fact that when he got up and he came on and it was 100% applause, I thought that was really good. And I'm relieved, because I said before, you don't want his legacy tainted at Liverpool. That would be really sad. And so,
do you think that's the end of it then?
Who knows? I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I think now there is a situation where he goes to the African Cup of Nations. Whatever happens there is by the by in terms of his Liverpool thing. But he comes back now, and I think they've clearly had a conversation. Mo may have apologised for his slightly emotional outburst. I don't know. But it seems to me that there's a chance that it could easily have been resolved during this. So we'll see. You never know in football. They say, what do they say? A week's a long time in politics, but in football,
you're right.
Blimey. Yeah. So we'll see. But for me, it looks like you know what it's like. You're in a relationship. Every now and again, you're going to have a tiff, like a lover's tiff. That's all it seems to me. Get over it, move on, and that seems from the outside to appear to be what's happened.
Let's see.
Yeah. I know you said last night, I don't think it's over, but
look, we're guessing. I don't know. What I do know is that he's going away for 4 or 5 weeks, which will maybe calm the situation. There are so many different ways you could look at it, both positive and negative, but we'd only be guessing. So I don't think we should do that. So I don't know. I'm reluctant to say it, because you could say it either way, and we don't know.
No.
Yeah, I think it's nice that he's going away now. Yeah. I agree with you guys. I think Slot dealt with the whole situation very well.
Agreed.
Even when he could have threw Salah under the bus, he didn't. Obviously, Salah's had an outburst, and all top players have egos. It was nice that he got on, and the most important thing, he looked sharp when he went on.
Probably should have scored, but
he should have scored.
Don't think he had a choice, by the way.
Sorry,
he had to, didn't he?
Had to what?
Well, he had to come on and do well after what he said.
Well, you always want to do well anyway, but
they put him back in the squad. He had to run around, and he had to do well. I know you missed a chance.
The bigger picture, though, Al, is there was question marks whether he still had that electric pace, and he does.
There was one run particularly where you saw him going, oh, hello, he's still... Yeah.
Maybe not at the consistency of previous seasons, but from a football point of view, he's like, ooh, Salah looks very sharp here. We could have seen this a little bit more during the season, but that was my takeaway from him. But I would agree with Alan as well. He's not going to go on there and have a stinker, is he? He's going to be running around. He's going to be energetic. But it was just good to see that he's still, and I never doubted it. I just think he was going through a spell where he wasn't scoring. Mo Salah in the team makes your team better. He was going through a bad spell. End of.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the greats. He's one of the Premier League greats who's had a tough period. Ekitike, boy, oh boy, I love him. I mean, he's very good. He's got it all. I mean, he can beat players. He's seriously quick, fantastic in the air. His movement is exceptional. I mean, what a talent.
They've got a really good player there. I would love to know the full story about Ekitike and Isak, whether they wanted them both or it was just a whatever. I don't know.
They paid a lot of money for both. So how can you not want them both?
Well, because when they signed Ekitike for 85 million, I mean, they're not going to be, looks as if they're not going to be playing together. And I know they played 2 up at Milan. But I guess for most, it'll be maybe one or the other. And if you're paying that much for one and leaving the one, then I think there's always going to be issues. Unless the big plan is that they're both going to want to play up there. But let's wait and see on that one. But I don't know. I'd love to know the full story as to, because obviously Newcastle came in for him. We're talking to him, and then he chose Liverpool. Fine, I get that and understand that. And then obviously the Liverpool situation with Isak. I don't know. Not convinced we know the full story.
I pretty much agree with Alan there. When they got Ekitike through the door, I feel as though that was a signing that Isak's no longer happening. And then when it came back to the table, you're thinking tried and trusted Isak. He's the final piece to, isn't it? And no one expected. I even spoke to Thierry Henry, who knows him very well. He said he's going to be a very good player. Is he ready for the Premier League? We have to see right now. So in terms of Ekitike, it was a little bit of a gamble. You knew what he was going to get with Isak. So I think I agree with Alan there, thinking, okay, well, we only went for Ekitike at the time because we didn't think Isak was going to happen. I would agree with that.
Yeah, totally. Ekitike though. Poor.
He's brilliant though. I think he's got a spark and an arrogance, a good arrogance. He's got a belief and a confidence because he's gone into a really tough environment, and he's really, really stood out for obvious reasons, which is not always easy, by the way. No. When you're going into a club and the rest of the team aren't playing that well. But he, without doubt, I think him and Szoboszlai have been the outstanding players for Liverpool. So for him to go in there into a new club, new environment, tough as it has been, for him to do what he's done and doing, great credit to him. And he's going to be, he's a huge talent, definitely.
Yeah, he looks really special to me.
Just to finish on that, he's got the fans on side as well.
I'll bet that's the way he's performing.
But earlier on, you guys know what it's like as strikers. When the fans are singing your name so early on, just gives you that confidence, doesn't you? And he works really hard. Like you mentioned, all the stuff, his attributes, Gaz. But when you've got the fans on side, some players take a little bit longer and they lose a little bit of confidence. He's had the confidence from the get-go because Isak wasn't ready to go from the start.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Let's finish off with quite interesting, comfortable victory for Chelsea. Good to see Cole Palmer back and scoring a goal, but slightly concerning that he's still saying he's got to manage the injury. And I think Maresca said the same thing, but perhaps the most interesting thing, which was picked up on Match of the Day, Alan, that I watched, and he seemed to intimate, they showed, didn't they, at the press conference, that he's not happy with the way he's looked at over the last 48 hours. He said it's been the most difficult period. I presume he's talking, we don't know, but it was a little bit cryptic. But I would say, and he did say it's not about the fans. He said that I'm happy with the fans. And so I think he might be talking about the owners, whether he's getting significant support or not. That's what it seemed to me. I might be reading too much into it. I don't know. But
no, I agree with you.
Yeah,
definitely. We would not have mentioned anything about that story at all.
With a 2-0 win, why would you?
Exactly. And the performance of Gusto. And that's what he replied to in the question about his performance. And then he came out with that. So he wanted us and everyone else to bring this up. And for me, he wanted to bring it up because it wasn't about the fans. And he said it 2 or 3 times. No, the fans, we love the fans. Fans are great. Blah, 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 blah. So for me, and I think the big picture is he's on about the owners, is that he probably feels as if he's not getting enough protection when Chelsea lose a game.
Or maybe, who knows, maybe that, we know a lot of owners do like to interfere, like to say who they should be playing. You don't know. We don't know.
But what more do they want from him, Gaz? He's top 4. He's won the Club World Cup. He's won the Conference League. What more does it? With young players as also.
Yeah, well, I think that's also a key point, Micah, because Chelsea now to Chelsea 15 or 20 years ago, when Chelsea bought the superstars and had to go and win the Champions League and the league title, it's highly unlikely that they're going to do that with the current mode that they're in terms of they buy young players to develop them and then possibly sell them on, give them long-term contracts, not maybe give them as big a salary as what they may get, or give them protection of long contracts. But when you're buying young talent to then produce them and make them better, that's unlikely that you're going to be winning the league or winning the Champions League when you're in that situation. So I'm with you, Micah. I think the trophies that he's won 2 trophies. He's currently in the top 4. I think that's probably as good as it's going to get for Chelsea. Now, I know that the fans may say, well, he tinkers a bit too much and he changes the team too much. I get that and I understand that. But the bigger picture, 2 trophies, top 4. I think that's where Chelsea are at this moment in time. And I don't think they're any better than that. And I think Heath is saying he wants a bit more protection when people or the media come for him, or maybe the fans have 1 or 2 moans, that he wants a bit more protection from the owners.
I think I've got a point if he's not getting that support behind closed doors, because I think he's done a remarkably good job. That is not an easy place to have gone, particularly when he did. They had that huge dressing room, remember? Yeah. So many players you got to sort out. You've got to placate unhappy players because they're not in the squad, they're not in the team. And he seems to have managed it really well. He's won trophies. They're near the top of the table, as you said, with a very young team. I think he deserves enormous credit.
Why else would you bring it up? Why else as a manager, after a 2-0 win at home, when you've put in a really good performance, on the back of a disappointing performance, you go back into the top 4, why else as a manager would you bring that up if you don't want people discussing it?
The only thing I would say, taking on owners is a dangerous business.
No, you're absolutely right, especially those owners who are very different. I mean, it's a different football club to any other.
Totally. Couple of other things before we go. I think we must give a shout out to Harry Wilson.
Whoa.
I mean, he's got 5 goals and 5 assists this season, and he got a goal and 2 assists in the game at Burnley. And I know you did your analysis, and Burnley were pretty woeful defensively, particularly in the first half. But I mean, Harry Wilson, I went to the Everton game at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I was in the boardroom. I was with Kevin Ratcliffe. I was talking about Wales because obviously he's Welsh, and I said, "What do you think? Can you make through the playoffs?" He said, "What we'll need Harry Wilson fit and on form, because he's a class act." I mean, I must say, he's a technician. He is a technician. I mean, he really is, isn't he? We saw that goal that he scored against Spurs away, and he's got a silky little left foot there, isn't he?
I felt a bit guilty too. I mean, it was only because the defending situation with Burnley was so bad. I mean, oh my God, it was terrible, particularly the first goal that they conceded from the corner. But I felt a bit guilty because Harry Wilson, 2 assists and the goal, another brilliant finish where he sort of curled it into the corner.
Oh, he makes that look very easy.
Yeah, he was superb and having a great time, isn't he? I mean, some of the things he's doing are brilliant.
Quick shout out to Ugochukwu as well. Yeah. I thought for Burnley, he played well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's a good little player, he is. But yeah, I mean, Wilson's always been good. I've sort of flirted with him fantasy football for weeks and weeks now. I might have to bring him in because his left foot is just delicious.
Don't do that to him. You know what
he's delighted to hear that.
I think he's on the cheap as well. Like H. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 5.4 million, something like that?
Correct.
I think I've been observing him for a while.
Harry brought Harry Wilson in, didn't he, at the weekend?
Did he?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. 2 assists and a goal. Well done, Haz.
Thank you.
He's doing insufferably well, I have to say, unfortunately. But do you mind if I give Leicester City a brief mention? Now, we're not doing terribly well, but we've made a bit of progress in the last couple of weeks. But I put it on the group chat, a certain goal by Abdul Fattahu, who I think is a sensationally talented player. And I fear the worst in terms of I don't know how long we'll have him at Leicester, and he was out pretty much all last season, which I think was hugely important for Leicester in the Premier League because he had that awful injury, cruciate. So, but he's come back and he's such a talent. I mean, I mean, that's a Puskas contender, I'm telling you, that goal. Because not only did he score it was way behind the halfway line, but he also had a nutmeg someone to get into that position before he hit it.
Did that go through his legs? I couldn't see close enough. It looked like he did it. Definitely went through his legs.
He megged him. He definitely megged him. I'm pretty sure he did, unless my eyes are playing up, which is very possible. But, I mean, blimey, what a goal.
Yeah. I can't go against any of that. It was a superb goal, magnificent.
If I was being very, very critical, guys, I would have loved to see it go straight in the net. You know, when it bounced first, I was thinking, please hit the net.
No, this is where you're wrong, Micah. The easy way is just to land it straight into the goal, right? The difficult way to do it is actually to scientifically work out when you strike it. To bounce and go under the bar.
Great goal for Tau. Really. But did I see on social media that he'd scored one before? I'm sure he scored another one.
No, he hit the bar. He hit the bar.
Did he?
He hit the bar with one.
Are you sure? You've got to double check
No,
that.
I'm positive. I saw exactly the post you did. It was Leicester's post. And it was saying, last time he hit one, it was fantastic effort. It didn't bounce. See, he's learned his lesson. You've got to make it bounce to go just under the bar as opposed to directly when it hit the bar. So, he didn't quite score it on that occasion, but that kid is super talented. I shouldn't say this because we'll lose him, but it's inevitable anyway. But one quick word before we go on a certain Harry Kane, because he's playing in Germany, we don't always mention him. He's just scored a late equaliser. They were at home to the bottom club Mainz and losing 2-1, and Harry scored again in the 88th minute. He didn't score a hat-trick today, but he did, of course, a few days ago, and he's now got 10 hat-tricks in 76 games. Wow. 10 hat-tricks in 76 games for Bayern. It took Lewandowski, the great Robert Lewandowski, 324 games to do the same at Bayern Munich.
Amazing.
Wow.
Quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I described Erling as a freak earlier, and Harry's a freak also, isn't he, in terms of goal scoring? Just magnificent.
He is. As were you, Alan. As were you. Absolute freak. But I'm not talking about your goal scoring. Okay, chaps, let's call it a day. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a great week, everyone.